how do attackers obtain your information? And surprisingly, a lot of the ways that attackers obtain your information, they don't do it illegally. Everything that they do in this discovery phase is almost always completely legal. One of the ways attackers obtain your data is through open source intelligence, or we abbreviate it as OSINT, O-S-I-N-T. This is security, quite often data collected from publicly available sources, such as web searches, public records, social networks, or map and street view imagery. Or it can be collected by targeted observation and negligence by the person who is being researched. So when you leave documents on a desk and leave the room, or somebody could shoulder surf you in a public place, leaving overly responsive email auto replies or voicemails that say, I'm going on vacation from this date to this date, or even business cards, spreading business cards with too much information on them. Learning about these things is completely legal, and it's super easy to do. The entry point for this sort of attack is very low, and unfortunately still a lot of people fall victim to it every year by not taking some simple steps to safeguard their data both online and in person. Another attack, quite common, that doesn't require a whole lot of experience is called social engineering. Social engineering is the art of manipulation. It's how can you get information out of someone or something? So it's human hacking. And a lot of common attacks here prey on the good intentions of the people that the hackers are exploiting. Tech support, they desire to help people. If you're on a date or a meeting with a friend, you're going to want to connect with them by asking personal questions. Or if you hold the door for somebody carrying a delivery box or delivering pizza, and they're going into a secure area, no less. In short, there's no such thing as a free lunch. This is my favorite graphic about social engineering. If they can get this data out of you, they have almost complete control over your finances, your social life, security, and it's just, people do this all the time. They're looking for a free lunch and it's not coming. You're going to be compromised. By far, the most common way sensitive information is obtained, though, is through data breaches. Browsing data breaches isn't illegal. Data breaches are posted on websites quite often by the hackers that perpetrate them. And attackers can access so much of your data if they have this data breach. If you reuse that account password, they can get into everything else, everywhere else you use that password. But they can also get significantly more intimate data about you than you think. Location, personal files, search history. If this type of data is compromised in an attack, because companies can and do store it, this is an easy way for an attacker to target you more personally because they know what your interests are and they know how to come at you. Who has the timeline feature here enabled on their smartphone? If you don't know what this is, you can raise your hand as well because it's already on. What if an attacker got that? What do you think they could do with it? Who has pictures uploaded to photo services or social media? Family photos? Photos of children or grandchildren? Anything you would like an attacker to have or know about your children that could compromise their identities? And finally, the new emerging trend is smart home data. Do we have anyone here with a smart speaker or any sort of smart home device in their home right now? Take a look at the devices in this picture. What do you think an attacker can learn from collecting this? We have, if I may take a look at the picture more closely, door sensors, light dimmers, smart home assistants, dehumidifiers of all things, speakers. All of these things are slowly becoming connected to the internet, and they're very often not secured or not supported to be secure past a certain date. An attacker can learn so much about you from collecting this raw data. They can learn when you leave by monitoring the temperature that goes up and down in your house, or by monitoring the ambient noise. They can listen into your conversations through a smart speaker. Basically, trust your devices. Know who you are allowing into your home through such things, and audit your smart speakers and your life that contains these speakers very closely because it's super intimate and super personal, and you don't want to give attackers undue access to any of this data about you. Now I'm going to discuss the attack. How can you more effectively secure your data against these types of attacks and discovery processes that I've just described? I have a great little comic here that shows the #1 thing that you all can do to protect your data. Here we have a user, and you can see that a hacker is interested in stealing data from them. We have all of their pictures, their dating profiles, their instant messages, and their email on the lower end of this scale that is not as well protected as you can tell their finances, their insurance, their hospital records, those sort of things. An attacker, if they can easily access your personal data that you wouldn't consider as sensitive as your financial data, they can then use that against you to obtain your financial data and other sensitive information that is significantly more valuable from you. And then it's gone. It's just the tip of a scale. They can easily take this from you if you're not careful, and we're trying to help you prevent that. So the phrase I like to use here is, not all accounts are created equal, but they are connected. If you secure your bank, but not your email, I can still reset your bank password by gaining access to your email address. Or if you have a third-party service here, such as mint.com, that reads from your bank and analyzes your spending trends, and you don't secure that as well as you secure your bank, I can access that service and I can gain the same information. So this really all comes down to, how can I protect my personal information? This will all be covered in more depth by my friends later on. But you can start out by keeping a strong passcode on your phone and your computers. You can set up two-step verification for the websites and services that you use. You can try to avoid using public devices. Use devices that you trust. Use people that you know. Avoid lending your phone to somebody who might ask, hey, can I make a phone call when you're traveling? Install encryption software. Just remember though, nothing is 100% secure. New technology emerges faster than experts are able to find and remediate the vulnerabilities. And finally, pivoting. Attackers pivot. What's a pivot? A pivot is when an attacker uses the current victim to their advantage to obtain more victims. 44% of people say that they will click a link sent by an acquaintance even if they weren't expecting it, as opposed to 9% for an unknown sender. So you can see a significant level of trust available from somebody that you know. You would be, even if you weren't expecting something from them, you trust them that they wouldn't send something bad to you. But quite often, this is the way cyber attacks are perpetrated against high-profile individuals. And it can happen to everyday people as well, because somebody sends them something that they aren't expecting, but they know them and they trust them. And they will click that link. If I can hack you, I can now hack your family and friends, businesses, customers, classmates, doctor, dentist, insurance, bank, mechanic, racquetball club, etc. Your friend's security is only as good as their weakest link, so don't be that weakest link for your friends. This is the best